A very warm welcome from Super League HQ, and I must say it is very warm here in Leicestershire. I've got a bit of a sweat on, sat at the laptop. Game week 20 of the Super League on a day where, well, let's just say it's been absolute carnage, hasn't it? There's been walkouts everywhere. Let's hope that no one's walking out by the end of tonight. Someone who I'm sure will certainly be here for the next 2 hours is the king of Churchtown himself, one of the tallest men on the planet, Mr. Dimble. How are you, pal?
I'm good, thanks, mate. How are you?
I am very well indeed. Where's my kisses, you tart? Evening, Alf. Evening, Duggan, who wants to bring Constantinu home. Yes, I did notice the tweet regarding the current Ledisford forward, former Dragon, of course. 5 starts, 4 sub appearances, 3 goals for the 28-year-old so far this season. And there's been claims made that he's being held against his will. Even dare he have to play attacking midfield. I can say there will be no special dispensation made to allow Constantinu to return to Dragons. However, all I will say, without giving too much away, is never say never. One of the great philosophers, Mr. J. Bieber, said that once, and never has it been truer than it is today. Evening, Rob and Tato and Ian, who have also joined the chat. Dimble, let's delve into things. Game week 20 tonight, getting ever closer to those playoffs. And you're in a handy yet precarious position because it's as if the game knows that this is the last season before we start again. Because I suggested around about game week 10, 11, it looked like there was going to be a split for the first time in a couple of years, and this is tighter than we've ever known it.
Yeah, it's bubbling along nicely. I think, like you say, the game has done some dodgy little things to pull things back closer together. There's been some strange results thrown in. It is almost like it knows, and to be fair, it's the best thing for the league to have 3rd to 11th still in the running. Anything could happen over these 7 games. So I think, yeah, two wins in a row and you're back in it for everyone, I think, pretty much.
Are you in the subscription at this stage that everyone except for the bottom 3 are in the mix, or do you still think Astor, with a 6-point gap, could make it?
6 points, I think it's too much. So if he won 5 games, that would get him up to 36 points, maybe. But it's a tough ask for anyone to win 5 games, especially that Astor squad. So yeah, I'd say he's definitely out of it. Anyone else can put a run together. Like I say, if you get kind of 5 wins out of your last 7, or 4 wins and 2 draws, I think you'll make it if you're in the top 11.
And are the top 2 pretty much nailed on to finish top 2 now, do you think?
It does look that way, yeah. All praise Lord Ian from Haggis. He's been amazing. I'll get that in there straight away just so he doesn't get too upset. And Mac has done a good job this season. Just been a bit overshadowed by the Scottish Messiah.
Well, indeed. Plenty of interesting games as we look down. We got 12th versus 13th in a battle not to get drawn into a scrap with Northern Burn, basically. Bostock and Dragons, are they kind of looking at this again as a last chance saloon game? Yourself against Northern Burn, despite the fact that they are bottom, they have just found a little bit of form recently, so that's the makings of a cracker. Fulchester against Gazelles, probably the worst possible time for Gazelles, really. But look at that, 3rd place Halls against top of the table Haggis. We've got Loco against Ledisford and Devils against Dudley as well. I've been asked, so we will try, Ghost Games permitting, because of childcare related issues at the moment, if Ledisford can go early. So I'll just get them on first and out of the way, if you're all right with that, Dimble.
Yeah, perfect.
Lovely. So let's have a look at the Ledisford team. And of course, the last game round, I announced an additional transfer for everybody, and most teams have got involved very quickly in the market. So none of them have been processed yet, but they're all in there. Ledisford are going for an out-of-league signing. A Tato favourite, free transfer, not assigned to a club. Thoughts?
I mean, he looks dog shit there, doesn't he? But I know he can do stuff. I don't think he's
got
I
a
don't think
decent
he's
scoring record on this save.
Yeah, and he will score goals in a normal situation, normal save. He will score goals, and I'm sure he'll bag a couple. If he played 6 games, he might get a couple of goals. But I still don't think he's of the standard, especially when you've got the likes of Van Nistelrooy and Vieri and Constantinu. It's a bit of a strange one. He could have had someone like Agbabasim of me or something like that. So it's a bit of a strange one.
Well, Tato has been handicapped this week with suspensions and injuries and unavailability all over the shots. We've got Ndai suspended, Perry suspended, Kufre injured, and Rayed still away at the Africa Cup of Nations, set to play Angola in the quarter-final. Good luck to him and his Egyptian teammates, of course. But one thing you will notice, Vieri not in the match day squad at all. Despite the fact that they are lacking in a few attacking options. It's a very Tato look formation. He's called it last chance Salon, of course. Etsabaria, who's been a big player for him this season, even dropped to the bench.
Yeah, I know he's been particularly pissed off with Etsabaria, so it doesn't surprise me to see him on the bench. In fact, I thought he would have been shipping him out, but Tato's done that usual thing where he hasn't done what he said he would do. The formation itself, I don't mind it. If you look at it, like off the ball, it's solid. On the ball, it's got players attacking. That kind of, the positions they take up on and off the ball should be perfect. But I don't think it'll work. I'd be surprised if it works because I've tried things like this before myself, like messing around. And it might work against the AI, but if you put it up against a solid Super League level team, I don't think it'll do what he expects, but we'll see.
Leicester don't have a great goal scoring record. I mean, there's a few teams that have been shut out plenty by Loco in the past, but Ledsford in particular have not got a great goal scoring record. Do you think this lineup has the ability to change that?
It's certainly got some nice attacking players in it, so I don't see why not. And he's got lots of players in the opposition half, so yeah, Tato surprises before with some strange and lovely formations. So I say it wouldn't surprise me if it works, but I would not put that out if I was manager of Leicester.
Next up, we've got Loco, who have found that bit of consistency in recent weeks. Their league position hasn't changed too much, but as you said, it's that tight. You have one negative result and you can drop a couple of positions. This is what Greasy has gone with. Loco run DM3, of course, very nice. Veron playing the pivotal role in this formation.
Yeah, 2 defensive wingers, 1 attacking midfielder, and Crespo still up front on his own. It's very Greavesy. I think, it's what you expect from him. But he's at home and he needs to win, so he thought he might kind of change his tune a little bit. I don't like the squad. I like a few of the players. I don't like the squad. He's got a lack of options in attacking areas, and even his defensive players haven't kind of done the job that you probably would expect them to do so far this season. So I think Loco are in a bit of trouble, but 3 points tonight and it's probably all forgotten.
Interesting. He stuck with Kloss, who, on the balance of play last time out, you can understand why. He got a decent 7 rating against a good Burns side. But he got widely criticised when the Barthez deal came about. Peruzzi's been a more than able deputy since Barthez left. He had, he got this 4, and now Kloss has come in and took his chance, and he gets to keep his place.
Yeah, I don't really know much about Kloss. I know who he is, but I've never really played with him. I know Peruzzi's been good, so I would have been tempted. I mean, I don't think he'll be the permanent choice. I think Peruzzi would come back in if Greavesy carries on into the playoffs and stuff. But I don't think it matters with the keeper as long as they don't throw a 5 in. If you can get a 6, I think you're fine. So Greavesy's tactic of getting rid of a good keeper doesn't surprise me because I think it could pay off.
Well, just before I ask you for predictions, just catching up on what's going on in the chat in relation to the Ledesford potential transfer. We've got Jens saying Madman Tato, Duggan saying it's an absolute insult to Constantinu. Regards to tactics, Tato saying it doesn't work against the AI. He's tried. And Wooder asking who the boring bastard talking is. I presume he means me and not you, that's for sure. Brad
No,
Mackay in charge of this
it'll be
one.
me. It'll be me. He loves me really. I know he does.
And it's worth saying, so Loco also going out of league, but they couldn't identify one. They were happy with just about anybody. So they currently have 5 bids in for players as they try to find one that doesn't. Guys, just in case you didn't know, Davide has stayed coupled up with Ekinsu. Why?
What's an Ekins do?
Well, indeed. But yeah, so Loco are in for 5 players in the current market, and with the hope of landing just one.
Well, that stinks of like a desperate club, doesn't it?
Desperate club trying to rescue their season. Who the fuck are they? You want me to go through them in a bit more detail, Steve? No problem. I'm sure there was actually 6. I'm not sure where the 6th one's gone, but we got Ludovic Juli, well-known player. We've also got Nobby Solano. Still
I love this. If anyone made a deal yet, they can steal a bid in here. Feel like any look at any of these players get a bid in.
Lad from Inter Milan on the radar as well. Got one in from Benfica. You'll notice the recurring theme is they all seem to be right-hand sided players. And then Victor, who is another player currently unattached. Everybody rejecting.
Yeah, there's some pretty standard looking right wingers there. If you were desperate for right winger, I can see why you would go for those. But if you had anything decent, you could have had like a Chadwick off me or something. But he hasn't got anything decent to trade, so that's why that offer wasn't even made.
Score prediction, please.
0-0.
0-0. Let's see if you are correct. Stefan Kloss busy at early doors, having to make a save or two. Loco perhaps just about edging it at this point, but no one really dominating. Sammy Hippier having to put a challenge. Crespo misses one that it looked easier to score. Crespo again getting involved, and an excellent strike from distance from Crespo. And Tonetto with his first of the season. Quick fire double, and Loco are 2-0 up on their playoff rivals. There goes the half-time whistle. So it looked to be arduous, and then out of absolutely nowhere, Dimble, Loco scored 2 goals.
Yeah, they've sparked into life, and that's a very good first half performance. Credit where it's due. I mean, I think the Leathersford tactics probably helped that slightly, but still a good performance from Loco.
Evening Swanee, who has joined the chat without even seeing anything. Tato wants Taibi off the pitch. Worth noting, because I know that both Greavesy and Tato like to keep an eye on this, 7 shots in that half for Loco. Let's look at the home side. Peddersford Pold Poise Pinished Pub. Indeed. This joke will clearly never get old amongst the masses.
I hope it does.
Maybe it'll be a different letter next season. Anyway, you're looking at these ratings. Everyone's seeing plenty of the ball, and this is as solid as we've seen Loco for quite a while. This.
Yeah, that's a good performance. Like I said, he's got the formation has worked so far. The 3 DMs have kind of shut down everything. So yeah, it's really good from Boston, and yeah, like I said, credit where it's due. And I don't see Greavesy messing it up from here. Although I'm sure Leathersford will throw bodies forward because that's what they like to do.
As for Leathersford, the complete opposite is just distinctly average, isn't it?
That's below average, isn't it? It's really poor.
Neil Scally, 14 tackles attempted, 4-1.
Yeah, he just runs around the pitch kicking people, doesn't he? And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. He hasn't got much else about him apart from the odd pass. But yeah, that's poor from him. At least he's busy though. He's busy. Yeah, the rest of it's just really poor, isn't it? Fred is the only one that's got a bit of credit out of it. And Taibi's coming off.
Well, I'm just waiting for confirmation. No, the goalkeeper's staying on reflection now that the manager's calmed down. So we've got Samak off for Etsabaria. Samak, of course, resigned from his position as Chancellor yesterday, so he was free to play tonight. Galletti on for Gallardo is the second change. But no tactical change, interestingly, for Leathersford, who have, have been dominated for most. Arrow off Petkov, please. Move Scally central. There is going to be plenty of tactical changes all of a sudden. Anything else?
That's why Scally was kicking thin air, because he just stood out on the left with no one else to fucking get out. If he stands in the middle, he might win a few more tackles. So it's a good move.
And Greavesy keeping it as is. Well, that's it till 60, says Tater. So you've already said you don't expect Loco to mess this up from here. Now you've seen the letters for changes. Do you give them much hope of a comeback?
They've got slight hope. The old Loco wouldn't have messed this up. So if he does mess this up, then he really is in trouble.
51 on the clock. Free kick to Ledisford. And they still come forward looking to pull one back. And then on the counter, Loco come forward. And we pause the game with Zé Roberto about to deliver a free kick. So Loco in a defensive situation. Ratings remain strong. Fitness remains not much of a concern. Maybe Tudor might be the one that Greavesy looks at.
Personally, I would. Yeah, I think 77 means you're about to get injured, but that's just personal preference. I know some people think it's a myth, but I just think it's the lower the condition gets, you're waiting for an injury then.
No obvious changes in terms of direct replacements. Put Etzeberria. Well, hang on, Tato. It's not your turn yet. Ledisford wibwobbing, suggests Wooder.
Again, C, which is correct. Yeah.
Zane for Crespo, Lucenoff for Tudor. I get dead excited when Wooder is in the chat. It's like the old days. So just clarification there. Greasy, Zane for Crespo, Lucenoff for Tudor. There we go. As for Ledisford, already putting through there. Petkov to DMC. And that will do. I mean, do you want them straightening up? Or are you happy kind of with this weird sort of diagonal thing going on?
So let's be more specific in the instructions, guys.
Duggan, I'm going to watch it when this is finished. Stop telling me who's coupled up. Yeah, straighten. Let's be normal. There we go. So we roll on then to full time. Who are these names, Duggan? Steve, you know that they're Love Island contestants by now. You're just being, what's the word I'm looking for? Galletti, the substitute, has gone off injured on 84 minutes. So Paredes is the obvious change. Do you go Etzeberria and then Petkov there?
Yeah, or potentially Kerr AM, but yeah, I would do that way.
Oh yeah, sorry, hang on. He did. I missed that one. Too busy talking. I think we want something a bit like this now. I think. If I was Love Island to get my penis touched. Paredes don't care. I think we're going with something a little bit like this for the rest of the game. Petkov right midfield yet. There we go.
Duggan, if you go upstairs to the bedroom while she's watching it, you can touch your penis all night long.
Right, let's get to full time of this first game. And Ledisford have pulled one back. It's Constantinu on 87 minutes. Surely not. Surely not. This would be absolute scenes if he does. Zane on the volley puts it over the book. We're into injury time and Constantinu again. And still Constantinu. He's done it!
Oh my god.
It's been ruled out.
Oh
no! No way! And the full-time whistle go, what's that been ruled out for? He can't possibly have been offside. He had about 15 touches. Constantinu brought it down on his chest, played a 1-2 with Petkov, eloquently controlled the ball, went past Klompe, took it in the area, scored, and it was ruled out. How could he have strayed offside? He had the ball.
Oh my god, that is corruption.
That is outrageous officiating. And the reaction in the chat, they have gone mad. Wow. Duggan saying yes and then no, and Steve saying oh my, and Swan the drama. Tato saying the game can fuck off. Duggan saying it was a solo effort. There's no way he was offside. Wooders still can't believe that Jamie flogged him. Leads have been robbed by the referee. Absolutely. Disgraceful, says Steve. Yeah, they're all. Is it Uncle Boyd? No, it's Uncle Brad. Who's not short of making the headlines himself anyway, but Loco, controversially, Dimble, have taken 3 points here. And, well, needless to say, the chat is erupted in disgust. Greavesy has just put, well played, Tato, unlucky, to the Greek waiter.
Yeah, crazy. He probably didn't deserve it on the balance of play, but he's got away with one there, hasn't he, Greavesy? And, yeah. That would, like I said, the old Loco wouldn't have done that, and they very, very nearly did. But that result makes him sit pretty again, I believe. So he'll be on 30 points, 4 ahead of Leddersford. So yeah, it's a very, very strong result for Loco. A very important one.
Greaves is saying the flag went up during his solo run. That's why the defenders let him go. He's obviously seen that from the touchline, of course. Crespo getting man of the match for his performance. Solid ratings continued throughout. Clayton Zane didn't do too much when he came on. Kloss is dropping to a 6, but he didn't really have much to do. But it just remained very solid for Loco, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a good performance. A lot of 8s, no 9s, which is, again, very Greavesy, isn't it? Just solid. Clayton Zane's a fucking shambles, but Greavesy keeps getting fed up with these second string strikers. He keeps letting people go for no reason. What was that big guy? The big guy got from out of the league. Was it Pjanovic or something?
Pjanovic, yeah.
Didn't do that much wrong for him, but just got rid of him for no reason. And then he's replaced him with Clayton Zane.
Scored on his debut, got dropped, and never got played again.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Then you bring in Clayton Zane, and that's what you're stuck with. So yeah, it's an odd one. Some strange dealings from Greavesy.
2iEan has popped up in the chat saying, "Is that you back above me in the league now, Greavesy?" Did he say today's his 23rd straight game week or something above Greavesy in the league?
It must be, yeah. So that must stretch into last season. So he finished above him last season as well, did he? Yeah, That's good then.
As for Leddersford, who are still in complete denial of what's just happened, Constantinu probably the best player on the pitch for them.
Yeah, he's class. Duggan says he's the best target man in the league, and I think he's pretty good. He's not probably the best one, but he's very, very good. Duggan should have made a better offer for him, I believe. You can't say he's the best target man in the league and then go and give Veron up for Montella. So he probably could have got him out of there if he really, really wanted to. But yeah, he's a very good player.
And given that Leddersford are looking out of league for a striker, Dragons will obviously come onto their transfer business soon, but Constantinu isn't the player they've gone for, so clearly he's not wanted that much either.
Yeah, I mean they've got 2 top tier strikers now, haven't they? But I'm just saying before that they could have targeted him and probably got him for something decent. So yeah, I think I know who he's bringing in, and the deal he's got, I think, is a very good one for him for Dragons. So yeah,
it is.
He's done good business. It's not that he needs Constantinu really, but he could have got him a while back.
On the potential negotiations for Constantinu, Duggan saying this is Tato we're talking about dealing with Dims, whereas Tato replies Duggan didn't offer anything for him. He keeps asking for him for free. But congratulations, Loco, who in controversial circumstances have kicked off the night with a big win to put pressure on all of the other playoff contenders. Let's go towards the bottom of the table now. And Astor Athletic, who have not got any bids in at the moment. They host Sloths. It's 12th versus 13th. Both started the season relatively well. Sloth's decline came a lot quicker, and they found themselves where they were very consistently for a long time. Astor were in the hunt, out of the hunt, and now they just seem to have dropped off altogether towards the back end of the season, sadly for them, but still plenty to play for in terms of pride.
Yeah, you don't want to finish bottom 2. You want to be on that first screen before you scroll down. So yeah, a lot to play for. Every week you want to win. But the 2 pretty poor squads. I think Sloths is the worst squad in the league, in my opinion. Astor is he's got some decent players in there, but he's struggling for depth. And I think the starting 11's it's all right, but it's not quite Super League standard.
Well, Taribo West is the only absentee from the current first team squad. Freddie Youngberg comes in on the left wing. DeVio partnered by Louis Zauf up top, Franca in behind. Liverani and Emerson as the midfield pair. Honcho and Brown. Wes Brown's been talked up by the likes of myself and Ryan, but he's been moved on a couple of times now. Is he one of those players who people can't decide if he's Super League quality, or is he just that good that he's always one that people want to negotiate for?
I think he's one of them. He's a good player. He gets decent ratings, but he's replaceable. So if you can get a good offer for him, you look to move him on, I think. But I think if you go him from day one, he's probably not quite ready. But over 5 seasons, he's definitely turned into a very good player. And this season, I think, his best season so far. Very, very good player. And Honcho's decent. He's got West as well. So he's got some good defenders, actually. He's got some good defenders.
Rossini's got 7 goals in 19. You look at today's partnership. Luizao, 1 in 5 starts. DeVio, 1 in 4 starts. If you look back at what he did at Burnley, only had 1 sub-appearance. Interesting that Alf's to leave, I think Frank is the top goal scorer, but second top goal scorer on the bench.
Yeah, but what you don't realise is that DeVio scored 80 goals in 5 seasons in his home save. So there you go.
Sloths do have a very good record against Astor, although they haven't actually won in the last 4 games against today's opposition. Let's have a look at the Sloths team, who do have some transfer business in the offering, with Cambiasso looking to come in for Materazzi. 2 players currently in both of your sides' reserves, Dimble.
Yeah, I know Materazzi wasn't being used. I know he's unhappy. Hodge isn't going to play him, so I made an offer for a player that's not in my plans at the moment. And I got sent the blurriest screenshot you'll ever see in your life from Hodgie. So I'm pleased to see that his pace is above 10, because that's the main thing I was worried about. I'm not overly convinced that Materazzi is going to be amazing. Well, I'll give him a chance, and he's definitely worth a shot for me. And Cambiasso, like I said, wasn't particularly going to get in the first team squad, I don't think. He's done a solid job, though. He's not a bad player. He's definitely better than what Hodgie has got at the moment. So I think it works out for both of us.
No, absolutely, and obviously a player that I rate very highly. Swannies jumped straight in with a stat. Hodgie unbeaten against Alf in this save, 5 wins and 1 draw. Let's have a look. Habuzi suspended for this one. Minimal changes. Rosicky, who was playing on the right wing, moves into centre midfield. Laney comes in. Kivu returns and goes straight into the 11. Other than that, it is as was for the victory. And you were saying perhaps slightly undeserved victory when you look at the balance of play last time out.
Yeah, it felt like a one-sided game. The stats said it was, but he scored 2 goals, hasn't he? And I haven't. It just felt like I was never going to win it, whatever I did. It felt like the game was against me. But like, these things happen. I just need to beat a very, very good team tonight to get back on track.
Astra at home sees Sloths in their Dudley Hill tribute kit. Can I ask your match prediction, please?
3-3.
3-3 in the...
Alf loves a draw, and there's usually goals with Pump Sloths.
In the bottom of the table, classic. And there is the first one. It's Rakobo with his first of the season. Astor comes straight back, and DeVio scores within a minute. And now Franca with an opportunity. And 3-3 might not be a bad shout looking at this. Both teams going at it. Corner kick. Cleared away. Astor come forward again. Another opportunity wasted. I think that's 2 minutes to be added on. Patsazoglu goes in the book. Patsazoglu then scores on the stroke of half-time. But DeVio's having absolutely none of it. And in injury time makes it 2-2. Before the referee finally says enough's enough. And that's half-time. Wow, what a first half.
I missed it because I was getting a beer, but it sounded...
I saw. I was hoping I talked loud enough that you could hear what was going on.
I know, I definitely heard it. And yeah, that's very Sloths, isn't it? And Astor, like I say, like a draw. So however many Sloths score, Astor will probably get the same amount. So let's see what happens second half.
Having a look at the home side first, and it's pretty solid ratings throughout. Obviously, the goalkeeper's having a bit of a mare, conceding 2 already. Luis Zhao isn't exactly impressing, but look at Marco Di Vaio. He's had all bar one of the shots. He scored 2 goals out of the 3 he's had on target. Franca, the other one, shooting. So clearly, these two are taking the lead when it comes to trying to ensure Asta don't get dragged into a fight at the bottom.
Yeah, it's a good performance. The Vaio's obviously testing's paid off, and Alf's got those instructions perfect for him, so he's doing well at the minute.
Subbing the striker at half time is Alf. As for Sloths, it's a mix of the sublime and ridiculous. You've got both the goal scorers rating 8s. You've got a couple of decent 7s throughout. A large number of 6s. I think is that 4, and then you've got Danielson there really struggling in midfield on a 5.
Yeah, I like Danielson as a winger or an AM maybe, but as an MC, I wouldn't put him in there. So it doesn't surprise me to see him throwing a bad one in, because he's done pretty well recently. But yeah, Sloths are just dangerous. Even though they're not playing that well, you wouldn't put it past them from scoring 3 or 4 tonight.
No, absolutely not. And we know that Hodgie is capable of getting his side scoring goals. I'm not entirely sure I've seen him in the chat. We'll just leave it on the screen for another 15-20 seconds just to be sure. Do you think both sides can maintain this and we go for a lot more goals, or do you think it'll calm down in the second half?
It'll probably calm down, but I can still see a couple of goals. So I think my 3-3 prediction is looking all right at the minute. Well, that's from the predictions league champion.
Let's carry on. Poor mentality, Danielson, says Steve. Already at 57 minutes. So we'll pause for the tactic break now at 64 as Asta come forward again, which surprises.
I'm sure it wouldn't take much to build a Steve Wright chatbot AI. If we could do that, someone.
Just having a look here. No real fitness concerns for Asta. Ratings wise, it's probably looking a little bit better than it was even at half time. So you'd be inclined not to change anything. You could perhaps bring on El Manda for a little bit more attacking intent in midfield.
I wouldn't touch it, but that's because the options on the bench aren't going to change the game, in my opinion. I wouldn't touch it. Whatever happens, they're going to draw, aren't they? So you might as well just leave it.
They're just going to draw all the way to the end of the season. As while we wait for there we go. Alf going straight in with as is. Quick look at Sloths, but no Hodgie. We won't spend too long. Yellow cards to key personnel, but no fitness issues. And again, the ratings have slightly improved, although he's looking for a bit more from his skipper, isn't he? If he can up his game in the last half hour or so, Sloths could certainly win this game.
Yeah, if he turns up, they win it, don't they?
Let's carry on and see what happens as we enter the final 20 minutes. And there's Franca. Makes it 3-2 to Asta. As we slow it down, 15 minutes ago, corner kick to the home side. Pasoglu gets it away, and there's another corner. Honcho couldn't keep his header down. Moving towards the final 10 minutes. Emerson and Di Vaio. Salihamidzic, Pasoglu in the way. There's Di Vaio again. Over the bar. 83 now on the clock as Asta come forward yet again. And it's Ambrosini and then Rossini. Save, can't hold on to it, falls to Emerson. And that must wrap it up. The former Devils midfielder makes it 4-2 to Asta. And then he's been sent off.
What did he do?
I believe Sloths took kickoff and then he's hacked down a Sloths player.
What, from kickoff? That's special,
that. He's just decided, fuck this, the game's over. I want to get in the shower a bit quick.
Some slide.
Yen saying that this result puts Asta back in the playoff race.
What crazy things have happened? He's unbeaten in 7, isn't he? Yeah.
Yes, but I think he's also winless in 7. Asta blasting Sloth, says Steve Wright. What do you see Alf doing with this? Just moving Liverani central?
But it's not going to affect the result. I mean, I'm very cautious, so I would probably put on Placenta in midfield and Lundberg central or something. Take a striker off, but it won't make a difference.
So Liverani is going central, and then he's bringing Placente on for Lundberg. That does mean, Hodgie's not here, so he can't change anything. Not that he necessarily would with this, even if he could. Steve's saying that's mad. We carry on towards full time as Astor went looking for a fifth, couldn't get it. There's the full time whistle and a dominant display by the home side.
That's a lot of shots against not a lot of shots. Very similar to my performance last week.
Yeah, pretty much what you would have been hoping for.
But yeah, congratulations to Alf. He's on a long unbeaten run now, and he's got 3 points on the board. He has put himself in with the slightest of slight chances, so he'll be happy with that.
So yeah, Sloths kicked off, Solari was pushed over, and Emerson got sent off.
Right. What was he doing? What was he doing hanging out on the left wing, pushing over the winger?
Devire getting man of the match for his performance. Freddie Youngberg, who got subbed off at the end there, also putting in a fine performance out wide. And also Ambrosini, I believe that is, with the 9 rating in the centre midfield as well. That's possibly, with the exception of Louis Zhao, that's probably the best performance we've seen from Astor all season.
Yeah, Lundberg's better out there than what he's been playing. You bring in Rossini for Louis Zhao, and it's actually a decent team. So yeah, it's a very kind of attacking mentality, and he's got 15 shots, 10 on target, so it's worked out a treat. I didn't really mention at the start, but they're both tributes to the Haggis formation, aren't they? So
yeah, there's quite a few of those.
Congratulations to Ian as well.
Hodgie remains marooned on 196 points. Is he going to break the 200 mark this year? He's running out of games.
He must be on 199 now, at least.
Oh, of course, yeah, he beat you 199. Apologies.
Or did he do it last week?
No, he was on 196, so he's on 199 now, I think.
Yeah, he's got a poor squad. I was going to say shit. He's got a shit squad. Got a couple of decent players. Kivu, Pat Satsoglu, very good. Pizarro is very good, and there's got a couple of acceptable ones, and then the rest aren't good enough. But I do think there's I think there's a couple in the reserves, for example, that would have improved the squad. So if I was Hodgie, I'd be looking to move a couple up and down.
Well, of course. After this game round is the final set of reserve swaps for the season as well. So interesting to see what the certain managers do. Well said, Dimble. And for the record, I think Haggis have been exceptional this season. Also this game week, says Jens. Let's move on, and we've got Fulchester, who are coming off the back of a humbling to Haggis. They host Gazelles, who themselves remain very much in the hunt. 3 points before a ball was kicked tonight, below the dotted line. But they are without Gattuso and Nicky Butt tonight, which could be key. Van der Laan and Zanetti coming in. So it's a familiar looking formation. But it just doesn't quite have the same look to it without Gattuso and Butt in there, does it?
No, but if you could pick one game to have them both missing, if you had to, you would pick Gazelles at home, because they haven't really got any AMs, and it's on paper. Well, if you look at the table, it's the second or third. I don't know, maybe like the fifth easiest fixture, but yeah, I'll say they've got a lack of AMs. I thought they was at the bottom, but they're doing pretty well. But yeah, they've got a lack of AMs, so it's probably a good week to be missing. Saying that, Cristiano Zanetti isn't up to much. But the Van der Laan brothers, the Van der brothers in midfield aren't a bad partnership, in my opinion.
No, not at all. Fulchester have been battling it out for the title or the top 2 spots all season. Gazelles, they've actually kind of been going in reverse to some of the other teams we've already seen tonight, where they were struggling at the start and they found a bit of form of maintain their position and have been trying to sort of slowly build their way up. Could they be the team to watch going into the final few games? Could they be that team for momentum?
Given the way they play, I'd say not, because they've been kind of scraping wins here and there. So you can't see them doing it on a regular basis. But if he gets 3 points tonight, he'll be right in the mix again, like he was a few weeks ago. So yeah, it's on. And Zay Ellis is a big loss for them, but at least they're getting some more attacking intent the other way.
Yes, so you can see that Zay Ellis looks to be on his way in a trade with Dragons for Ortega, which I think me personally, only one team wins that one. They keep the same formation as last time out, just a couple of changes. Asamoah comes in on the right-hand side, and Mourinho comes in for the suspended Udeze. I think it was actually Zay Elias who comes back in for Boateng, because I think Zay Elias missed the last game. Yes. So 3 changes in all for Gazelles, who did beat Bostock Stanley last time out. Ortega starts a class and needs a run, and he will do well, says Steve. Well, we'll see. He will have best part of 5 games, and then potentially the playoffs to impress. So we'll see how he does. Looking at both sides, a score prediction, please, Dimble.
I think Button could say a massive losses, but you can't really see past the Fulchester win here. So I'm going to say 1-0.
1-0 to the home side. Absolutely nothing happened for the first 10 minutes, and then Gazelles tried to assert some dominance, waste a chance or 2 early doors, and another injury in midfield. And it's Van der Laan who came in for Gattuso that goes off. Now, Beckham, the obvious solution to go in there and then play probably Quaresma out wide, or possibly even Castillo?
I would say Quaresma on and Nedved at central.
Nedved central, yeah, possibly.
But then he's losing kind of a bit of grit in there. I don't think Beckham's going to give you much in centre mid. So I think he's played Nedved centre mid more than he has Beckham. So if we're making the call, then I would do it that way.
To be fair, I'm not sure if we've seen Maka in the chat so far tonight. So we'll again give him sort of 20 odd seconds, and if not, we will make the choice on his behalf. Obviously, both managers will want to win this, both personally and professionally. With their recent conversations in the Super League chat, it will mean plenty to both to get the win. I can see Martin is here for when it comes to Gazelles. I haven't seen Dan, so it looks like the manager himself will be in charge. No sign of Maka, so we're going to go with what you said. Nedved goes in the middle and Quaresma out on the left. That seems a fair sub to me.
Yeah, I don't think he's played. I can't remember him playing Beckham in centre mid once. So for me, that makes more sense. Apologies, Maka, if I've got it wrong.
So 28 minutes now on the clock as Gazelles come forward again, waste another opportunity. Fulchester just look to be stumbling a little bit, not looking anywhere near their best again, although Trezeguet getting involved and wasting an opportunity there. Yellow card for Zanetti. And it's Asamoah with his first ever goal for the Gazelles on 44 minutes. And there goes the half-time whistle, and the slow, progressive approach to getting into the playoffs continues. Fairly even game in terms of attempts created. Fulchester very wasteful with theirs. Gazelles wasteful in terms of getting them on target, but very effective in terms of one on target has gone in the net.
Yeah, Gazelles have had a habit of doing this. They've not created a load of chances or a load of good chances, but they seem to nick a goal and look fairly solid. So yeah, but I'd be worried if I was Maka watching this on replay.
Quick look at their stats. It's okay without being exceptional. A couple of sixes in there, like Comandini, Buffon as well, conceding with the only shot on target. Zanetti, you said, wasn't up to much. Beckham not really doing anything out wide. No obvious fitness concerns. As for Gazelles, nice to see a random formation doing well, says Tater. Barthez excelling again tonight with a 9 rating at half time. Also got an 8 for the departing Zay Elias, clearly waving goodbye to the fans, wanting them to remember him fondly.
Yeah, very good performance from him. Barthez, I probably didn't play. I didn't sell his part enough in this because Gazelle's wins have come to nil, usually 1-0 or 2-0, and Barthez is always the one that turns up in goal. So yeah, he's been a very good signing. I know I said earlier about selling Batters, probably wasn't a bad move, but for the way Gazelles are playing, it's definitely a good one for those.
Martin sticking until 60, so that is what we'll do. And it's the away side again, trying to double their lead, creating all the chances. And it's only a yellow card for Nedved, who reacted angrily. And Seedorf then, just a couple of minutes later, goes and gets himself sent off. Unbelievable. It looked for all the world that Nedved was going to get sent off. He went to eyeball the referee. But in the end, Seedorf has got himself sent off. Looking at the subs available, it wouldn't actually. I mean, Pinardi's the obvious one, but that would be 3 left-footed midfielders. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Bramble came on and Smertin moved into centre midfield.
I would just go 2 in centre mid and 2 defensive mid, but maybe not in this situation. I don't know what I'd do. Maybe just Alex central and pray.
We will wait Martin's decision. 52. Nakata for Alex. Move him centrally and keep the arrow.
Yeah, I think that's a smart move because Nakata's a bit more solid than Alex, I would say.
Again, unfortunately, no Maka here to make any changes for Fulchester. I'd just be putting a little arrow on Yakubu, to be fair, says Tato. Let's carry on towards the 60-minute mark. Zenden goes in the book. The 10 men come forward looking to double the lead as we hit the hour mark. Smertin's the latest player to go in the book. Some discipline issues for Gazelles tonight. A fair amount of cards. Still leading though, and do you expect, with what you can see on the screen, Martin to just stick as is and hope it's enough?
Yeah, he might bring Pinardi on for Zenden, but I can't see him doing anything else now.
Just to try and avoid a player getting a second yellow.
Yeah, and Pinardi's a bad player. Zenden's done okay, but Pinardi's a decent player, and I think that left side suits him.
No, absolutely. Let's just flick back to match ratings, which are looking very solid. And ZLS definitely waving goodbye to the Gazelles fans with an excellent performance so far.
Very good sign up for Dragons.
Will that be enough? See, they've got quite a lot of good midfield options though, Dragons. So where does ZLS fit in?
I think he allows them to play. You can play centre mid, or you can play a 2 defensive mids with him and Biscan. Or I think it just gives them a bit more options. I think Saeed's unhappy as well. But you're right, they've got a lot of options, and I think the centre mid's been a problem for Duggan. But defensive mid wise, I think he's got some decent options.
And of course, also got the situation that ZLS did play for Duggan before in his ill-fated time at Gazelles.
He was their talisman, wasn't he, when he played in that Shield winning season.
Flag stays down. Shevchenko hits the crossbar. Van der Vaart, Comandini, and he's levelled things up in the 83rd minute. Fulchester back in this game, and now do either side have it about them to go and win it? Beckham, Van der Vaart. We're heading towards injury time. We're in injury time. It's Pinardi. It's a throw into Gazelles. Nakata, Pinardi. Buffon with a fine save, corner to Gazelles. And that is all. And that is a great result for everybody else in the playoff mix. Fulchester just about claiming a point at home to Gazelles.
Yeah, I think it was deserved. In the balance of the game, it was deserved. I think they weren't looking the best though, Fulchester. They're not looking as good as they can be. And Gazelles did very well, kind of like stifling them. But this is what I said about Gazelles pushing on. The way they're kind of approaching games and playing, it's not going to keep you winning games, I don't think.
Let's have a look at the home side stats first. And it was solid. It was dependable. Zanetti, the only real letdown. And you mentioned that you weren't a massive fan in the build-up. But ratings-wise, Fulchester looked okay.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh on Zanetti. He had a decent game if you look at the stats. And the rest of it looks good, yeah, really good. And the Charisma sub worked out okay. So I'm happy that I didn't mess that up.
Barthez getting man of the match for his string of fine saves. John Terry struggled a little bit performance-wise, but you're looking there at the sixes for the likes of Anelka and Alex and thinking, would it have been different with 11 men maybe? Could they have hung on?
I think so, yeah. I think they definitely had a better chance anyway, that's for sure. But like I say, they're not creating enough good chances, and the ones that they did get, 3 shots for Anelka, 0 on target. So if Anelka's not firing, then they're really going to struggle to get goals.
Absolutely. Let's move on to a crucial game in the chasing pack. Bostock Stanley entertaining the Dragons. Bostock, I don't believe. Oh no, they have transfer news. So Robbie Keane looks to be on his way to Dudley Hill, with D'Alessandro on his way into the club. In terms of where Scott's played Robbie in the past, this seems like a like for like change, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it probably suits both people. And Steve was looking for that kind of AMFD, and I think Scott's looking for a more creative midfielder, whereas Robbie's more of a goal threat, I'd imagine. So I think it suits them both. I don't think either of them are going to change the course of the seasons for the teams, though. I don't think it's a deal that's going to kind of push you over the line, but 2 good options for both clubs.
Live and Li Young-pyo unavailable for Bostock tonight. What I am interested in is your thoughts here. Zanoni playing at left wing back. He's a right-only footed wing back. They do have Phil Neville available, who does prefer his right, but not right only. And he's known for playing out on the left. Guigu, of course, has also played out on the left for Bostock in the past. Are you slightly surprised to see Zanoni playing now?
I am, yeah. I wouldn't have done it myself. It doesn't look like he can play there, but for one game, he might get away with it. If you took that approach every game, I think you would get found out. But for a one-off, he might be all right.
And Maka has joined the chat after his game. Congrats on the late equaliser. Swanee has just pulled out a great stat as well. 32% of games this season resulted in a draw, compared to 24, 26, 25 and 25 in the previous 4 seasons of this save.
Crazy. The crazy that he sat there and went that out. I mean,
as for Dragons, their slight tactical tweak is they remove the arrow from this midfielder. Lazans comes in for Raquelme, who drops to the bench. I want to say there was one more. Oh, and Morientes replaces the injured Montella, partnering Segalco up top. Still no place for John Carew, who has to remain on the bench, despite 3 goals in 1 start and 7 sub-appearances.
Yeah, he's been doing really well off the bench though, so he might prefer that role. I don't know. But what I will say is that Zalius for Lazans makes that an unbelievably good team, in my opinion.
Or even for Saeed, as you said, who is not happy and put in a transfer request. Fairly even goal scoring record in this fixture. Bostock have edged the results. Not a lot of draws, which is crucial when you consider where both teams currently sit, with the season drawing to a close. When you look at the table, Dragons on 24 points, Bostock on 23. Do you see this as last chance for both of these sides?
It's not a last chance, but it's getting there, isn't it? If you lose one badly now, I think all the momentum goes out of your season. So I think avoid defeat.
I was going to say, is it more critical to win this one or not to lose it?
I think if you're at home, you'd like to win it. I think if you're away, you'd be happy with a draw. It's my view on that.
Okay. Did I ask you for a score prediction?
No, I'm going to say 2-2.
2-2. A much faster start than in the last game, as Bostock now come forward on the counter and seem to have now taken a dominant approach to this game, the home side. A couple of decent opportunities there, but failing to score. Torres with the latest one. Ronaldinho getting involved. This is very Bostock heavy. Dragons now managing to get a bit of momentum on the ball themselves. See Morientes getting involved. A lot more even conclusion to this half than we saw. Both sides having spells in the opening quarter of the game. 42 minutes now on the clock. And there's Carlos Jacques on 43, opening the scoring for the home side. Crucial goal in the race for the top six. As Bostock in injury time miss an opportunity to double their lead. Look how many opportunities Bostock created in that first half compared to their visitors. That is like a performance of old from Scott's side, isn't it?
It is, and that's minging from the Dragons to have that little involvement in the second half is minging. But yeah, two sides to it. Bostock look very strong, and they are creating chances as well, which they don't always do at the minute. So yeah, Scott will be delighted with that.
Looking at the stats, then the thing that jumps out to me, the ratings are all pretty decent. Lack of touches really from Jacques and Torres, although it seems to be when they are seeing the ball, it's kind of a shoot on sight policy.
Yeah, you've got 10 complete passes between them, but 6 shots, so it's not bad, is it? They've got the ball and they've had a shot. What more can you ask for from your front men? Looks very good.
Absolutely. Duggan's saying struggled with this formation against 2-4 all season. Raul coming on at half time for Torres is the change. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I kind of expected Torres to at least see it through to 60, but it's not to be.
It's a nice option, isn't it?
As for Dragons, a lot more sixes in their ratings. Morientes in the same sort of way as I was saying about Torres. Perhaps needs to see a bit more of the ball, but he is the only one to have had a shot in anger. You've got Lazans there who's come back in for this game. He's rating a 5. Even Baumer's rating a 5.
It's Paul around, and Chiotis has actually kept them in it, which is surprising for me. But Lazans in centre mid hasn't worked, so I would be changing it if he hasn't already.
I think we're going half forward out. So I believe, if I've read this correct, this is what we're going with. So Lazan's replaced by Carew, who goes to make it a 3 up top. Dyer moving into central midfield as Davids moves back to make it a double pivot, and the Polish lad whose name I will massacre if I try it, moving out to that right wing position.
That's how, yeah, perfect, he said.
Shimko. Let's roll to 60 then and see what happens.
There's a strong win. The keeper will get out jumped by a striker.
That is what Duggan will be hoping for. Sigalko gets involved. Oh shit! All the time flies past. Sigalko had missed an opportunity or two there. Dragons are playing their way back into this. So with that in mind, do you think Scott will be changing it up?
I don't imagine so. He's usually quite calm about these things, and I think they look pretty solid. Yeah, he might change Cafu because he's old, but apart from that, I wouldn't touch it.
He might change Cafu because
I mean, he seems like he's constantly on 79%. I don't know if he started on 79%, but every time we look at him, he seems to be really, really struggling.
So no changes for Scott. As for Dragons, could Ortega or Raquelme come on? I mean, to be fair, that's a very attacking subs bench named by the Dragons, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's got some talented players on there as well, but
is it because they started the game with so many defensive players? Do you think?
Yeah, I do the same thing. If you've got a couple of players in your midfield that can drop backwards, then you don't need defensive players on the bench. So that's probably what he's thinking. You got Said and Lizans who can drop in, haven't you?
Tato wants Constantinu being brought on. Ortega for Morientes, stick him on the right of the 3.
Yeah, makes sense.
Baumer 5, unheard of. Sigalko on the left. Yeah, that's all done for you, Duggan. So it remains 1-0. Changes made. And let's see if Ortega can score a goodbye goal for the away side to keep them firmly in the hunt. Or will it be another 1 step forward, 1 step back for the yellow and greens? Carew coming forward. And now they win the ball back, but it's a goal kick to Bostock Stanley as more time ticks away. And Jacques has surely wrapped it up. It's 2-0 to Bostock Stanley in the 89th minute. And there goes the final whistle. What a win for the home side. And very, very much deserved, Dimble.
Yeah, very good performance. And Jacques is looking tasty, looking very tasty. Very, very good player. And Dragons they've huffed and puffed a little bit, but they've not created too much second half. So
they've been completely outclassed, I would say.
Yeah, Bostock looked like a better team by a mile today, yeah, that's for sure.
That Lazen's decision at MC was horrific. Indeed, it was. Everyone asking to have a look at Carlos Jacques. Well, there is the man of the moment. Now on 7 goals for the season and developing very nicely indeed.
Nice.
Welsh gets man of the match. Look at that, absolutely dominating in midfield. Duggan saying that playing Lazans was an awful choice. It's just John Welsh was superb tonight.
Yeah, I know Duggan was deliberating over the Lysans, the inclusion, and yeah, he got it wrong. To be fair, he didn't have many options though, so he couldn't really do much else apart from move other players out of position. But John Welsh has developed into a really good player on this save again, and good key passes, tackles and passes all day long from John Welsh. He's a very good player.
Other notable performances, obviously a brace from Carlos Jacques, plenty of 8s from the defensive players. Scott will be absolutely delighted. Jacques and Scott, biggest love story of the Super League, says Jens. I mean, look at this. Baumer couldn't get off of his 5, Lazan's 5, Sigalko 5. It's just, I mean, David's 5. It's just awful from Dragons.
You got some big players putting some stinking performances there. And just on the love story thing, it depends how the Pete Greaves and Ian Campbell love story ends up. If it's like if they have a trip onto a mountain and to do some sheep herding, then it could all change.
Sheep herding. Doug, is it a case of Duggan's got some big calls wrong here, or just the players didn't perform for him?
Well, he's got one call wrong. I think the rest of the team picked itself. So he's got one call wrong. But there's something not quite working there against this. Like I said, the 2 defenders for across the DM line. It's not worked for him a few times. So I think he said he was hoping that Scott would go narrow, but he didn't. So Bostock Stanley looked comfortable.
We still have 3 games to play tonight, and we go to the big clash at the top of the table. Hull's Vikings entertaining the league leaders, Haggis Hunters. And you can see there the transfer news coming out of Hull's is that Archie Back is on his way with... Oh yeah, I forgot that he was on his way to Udinese as well. But Kevin Hoffland coming in from Northern Bird. The Hull strikers are the sort of side that need defensive reinforcements if they're going to be a success this year?
No, not off the top of my head, no. I know they've got some good defenders already. They've got Campbell and Rustico, haven't they? So they've got a third quality centre-back now. I know they've had to play kind of a Darnay and someone else a couple of times, and that's probably why. But from Jens's point of view, I don't think Back was doing much. So he can bring in a quality option and sacrifice someone that's not going to play, then you're going to do that at this point when you've only got a few games left, aren't you?
Does Hoffland come in and take the place of Rustico and play alongside Campbell? Does he go to a back 3? How do you see it working?
I'm not sure he places Rustico. I mean, has Rustico played well this season? He doesn't play Campbell for me. Campbell's a better player. Rustico maybe, but Rustico's done nothing wrong. So yeah, it's a strange one in terms of his starting 11, but in terms of squad and suspensions at the back end of the season in the playoffs can play a massive part, as I found out when I had Abel Javier and Marcus Babel playing in my first ever playoff game. So yeah, it's probably not a move.
Again, not a fixture that's known for its draws. Haggis have had the better of it. Let's have a look then at the league leaders. Rustico suspended every other game. Campbell is under fire for poor performances. Hoffland will get games, says Jens. Awful side, says Rob. Haggis 3-0. Let's have a look at the Haggis side. And just one change with Del Piero feeling a bit tired. We've got Bruno starting. Worth noting, despite not starting a game, Zidane is leaving Haggis as he's been recalled by Dragons in time for the reserve player swap. So maybe Zidane is going to get some more game time at Dragons between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, I want to see him tonight. Let's get him on.
Let's get him on, indeed. Well, now having seen both teams, can I ask you your score prediction, please?
Oh, the Haggis humble everyone everywhere they go, so it's going to be about 4-0 to the Haggis, I think.
Haggis are massive everywhere they go. Haggis are massive. They want an early penalty, not given. Bruno getting involved back in the team tonight, as I say. I think that was Campbell going in the book. Looks like Haggis have edged the opening 20-odd minutes. Dragons legend, transfer mastermind, brought him in, says Smuts, who joins the chat. Haggis want another penalty, but it's turned down by Matthew Breeze. 5 feet for tomorrow. I thought your missus was going out tomorrow. We'll come back to that. Fairly even half, both sides creating similar amounts. Very wasteful, both sides in front of goal. Haggis having 2 penalty appeals turned down. What have you made that first half? A bit of a chess match?
Yeah, it seemed like nothing happened. I'm getting 1 in 5 of commentary screenshots as well, so it's not helpful for kind of guessing what's going on. But yeah, Saviola AMC doesn't work. Jens, I know he played well a couple of times, but it doesn't work.
Looking at a more in-depth ratings then, Sol Campbell does, he has been the rock at the back compared to his centre-back partner. Gerrard playing relatively well in midfield, but as you say, Saviola is just not working for him tonight so far. Haggis players throwing themselves to the floor for the entire half there, says Jens. Looking at the league leaders, by their standards this year, this has been average.
That's very poor. That's a very kind of Haggis 1 in 2, 1 in 3 performance they put in every other season of the save. So it'd be worrying if Campbell started doing that now with the playoffs just around the corner. But the way they've been playing, they'll probably get a couple of goals second half.
So Ian rolling to 60. Alf enjoying that Matthew Breeze is refereeing in strong wins. And Jens brings Tristan on for Mido. Goes 2 up top with Saviola, AFC. Oh, he didn't. Do you want an arrow, Jens, or no arrow? You didn't specify, sorry. Oh, yeah, no, it does say arrow on Saviola. So it's an attacking change from the home side as they look to get a big win in the race for the top 6. And it is the home side who come forward first in the second half. 49 now on the clock. And it's Saviola on 50 minutes who opens the scoring. A huge, huge goal that. And then the whole of the 60 minutes flies by with nothing happening. And Viduka levels things up with his 10th of the season. It's 1 apiece as we pause the game on 71 minutes. So we had drama if Saviola opening the score, Dimble. But Haggis have proven why they're so difficult to beat by pulling it back.
Yeah, we mentioned, I don't know if it was before we went on, the amount of times there's been a goal and a quick reply, and that's very positive from Haggis to get it back straight away. Saviola, I might have got it wrong, but I still wouldn't play him there.
Jens doubling down on AMC's. Tato is enjoying. Steve saying it's ex-Dudley galore. Well, to be fair, Steve, you've just about managed every player in the Super League, despite only managing 1 club. So, of course it is. Jens keeping things as is. As for Haggis, given that they've levelled things up, do you see Santa Cruz or Zidane coming on? I mean, Bruno may be struggling a little bit for fitness there.
I said let's see Zidane earlier. Let's see Zidane. Let's see what he can do. I want him to get a 9 match-winning performance and then go back to Dragons and sit on the bench. That'd be perfect.
It certainly would be it would be scenes. I'm intrigued to know how that conversation went as to why Duggan's told Ian that he wants Zidane back because I can't see he's going to feature too much. Although after their performance tonight, maybe he will. Santa Cruz coming on for Bruno, with Casas dropping back into the hole. So no Zidane swan song. Let's slow this one down. 20 minutes essentially to play, and the score remains 1 apiece. Casas and Viduka link up, probably because Lazans is the other option, says Tato. Viduka heads it forward, and now Santa Cruz. But Campbell goes in the book in editor Roque better than Casas at AM, just saying. And Casas with the strike, curls it in from 20 yards, and it's his 10th of the season as well. Haggis have turned this game on its head, and the league leaders have gone from 1 down to 1 in front. And they get a free kick with Mendieta and Santa Cruz. And surely the substitute has wrapped it up there. It's now 3-1 to Haggis Hunters. And the on-loan Churchtown striker scores his first goal for Haggis. As Tato says, fuck the editor. Haggis look imperious at the minute, don't they, Dimble?
Very, very impressive. What a manager. What a team.
What a manager, what a team indeed. Dimble wasted Roque Santa Cruz in the chat.
Yeah, I did.
It was a fairly even game stats-wise, but Haggis have their ruthless efficiency in front of goal, scoring with almost every attempt on target. None of us know anything about this game, says Tato. That's a massive win for Haggis, isn't it? Especially again with Fulchester dropping points. They've all but secured their place in the top 2 already.
Yeah, that puts them 6 points clear, I think. So that's a very big gap at this point. And we're going to see some of them squad players, I think. That's what he promised. So let's see some of them squad players.
Just a very average performance from the Hall's attack. Defensively, they weren't too bad. Van Bommel had a bit of a hard game in the field, but Saviola 6 despite scoring, Roberts 6, Mido 6, Tristan came on for a half and also got a 6. It just didn't get any better for Halls, did it?
No, it's not. It's not terrible. It's not a terrible set of average ratings, but it's not enough to beat the Haggis, is it?
Jens saying his season is over. I don't think that's quite the case, mate. Casillas putting in one of his better performances. Samuel as well, working very hard. Jeremy's, of course, normally one of the standouts. And is that Roque Santa Cruz coming off playing 20 minutes and getting man of the match?
He's just happy to be free of his old boss, I think.
That's just ridiculous. But congratulations to Haggis on a massive win. Top spot, no title, then cry about the criminality of it is the content I'm here for, says Steve. Halls, I'm sure Halls will come again. Penultimate game of the night, and it's former champions Devils entertaining defending champions Dudley Hill. Same formation as last time out, where they drew 0-0 with Halls. Only change, Vogel suspended, so Good Johnson comes in midfield. As Dimble's camera goes flying. So Steve reverted back to what he knows. It's a strong-looking 11, not as strong as the title-winning 11, in my opinion. Good Johnson, although doesn't let the side down, he's a bit of a downgrade on the suspended Vogel, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been rubbish at MC, hasn't he? He's done some good things at DM, but he's been rubbish at MC. So Steve wouldn't have wanted to put him back in there, but he's probably not got many options apart from Andy Johnson,
who I believe is currently tearing it up in the reserves.
I'm sure he's on his way back soon then, so we can all see that again. But yeah, it's a team that will be improved by the return of Luca up top, and I think Steve's really struggling to find the MC that works and an AMC that works. I know Roy's done okay, but he's tried about 8 different people in there.
Has there been talk of Luca being recalled?
I believe that's the case. Yeah, it might not have been informed yet, but that is the case. I believe. Yeah.
I haven't.
But that was always the plan. To be fair, it was a case of he was putting him in the reserves. Did I want him? And the answer was yes.
Okay. Let's have a look at the Devils team without the injured Mpenza and the suspended Vieira. Two bigger misses you probably won't see anywhere, although they are built, equipped to deal with it. Van Bronckhorst comes in for his former Arsenal teammate, and Samuel Eto'o, who has actually been not too bad. 3 goals in 8 starts, some decent form. He comes in up top. Other than that, it is unchanged. Do you think Devils are in danger? I mean, we saw they briefly dropped out the top 6. They've not found anything that resembles consistency. There's been more than one co-commentator saying that they've lost their fear factor. Is there a genuine, what's the word I'm looking for? Is there a genuine reason to think that despite the strength on paper, this Devils team might not make the top 6?
There's a good chance, but I do believe that the quality will shine through, and he will get more points than those below him or around him. So, yeah, but if he doesn't on the ghost game,
Really?
if he doesn't start picking up results, then he will obviously drop out.
Right, so that has gone to a ghost game. So we go to what should have been the main event, Churchtown at home to Northern Burn. And interestingly, you revert back to the tactic that you've played for the most part of the season, with Luca Toni dropping to the bench, Hussein playing as a one up top with Agahauer and Brugian getting support. And the eagle-eyed amongst you will also notice, despite Mascoro being available, Mendes de Silva comes... No, sorry, not Mendes de Silva. Let's try that again. Mendes comes in for his first appearance of the season.
Yeah, he looks quite decent. I brought him in to be the third choice, and then the Mascaro thing happened, and I kind of regretted the Mendes deal after the fact. But Mascaro got a 5 last time out, and I'm bringing in a left-footed centre-back. So I just thought I'd give Mendes a chance tonight to see if he can play, and if he gets a 4 or 5 or something stupid like that, then he'll probably go to the reserves. But if he plays well, he'll keep his place until he doesn't play well.
You've had the.
I think he's a decent player though, and I know he's done bits in the past. I know, looking back on some old streams, he did a decent job for a very shit Devils team back in the
day. Well, yes, indeed. But then anyone who was getting 7s for that Devils team was looking like a world beater. You've had Burns' number in recent times, unbeaten in your last 4, so crucial to keep that record going tonight.
Yeah, but things like that scare me, because I think it's bound to go the other way very soon. And the way Burn have been doing all right very recent times, and that 11 on paper still looks amazing to me. So I'm worried about this one, I've got to say. On paper, this looked like an easy game 3 or 4 weeks ago, but now it looks like one of the toughest games, I would say, because if this Burn team was sat in 5th with these players, everyone would be saying they'll make the playoffs. So I think they've got that form in them. I'm just hoping that we get the old shitty Burn, the glitched version that came about.
Yeah. They are unchanged from last time out. Abel Xavier obviously couldn't have featured anyway against his parent club. It's certainly going to be an interesting... I do like the look of this midfield there. I do think this 5 as a unit. To be fair, I rate the win. I say it, the whole squad's just good, isn't it, to look at?
It's elite. It's season 5 as well when you've got Robin and Broζek. It's elite. Totti and Aymar are 2 of the best midfielders in the game. Keane is a machine. Emerton's not done great so far this save, but he's a very good player. Yeah, it's just a very good team.
Jens,
a lovely away kit.
Let's not jinx it by saying things like this, Jens. As is protocol, I won't ask you for prediction. I'll just say good luck, and good luck to Mr. Edwards as well, as we kick off what should have been tonight's main event. And Northern Burn through Aymar, his first ever Northern Burn goal, scores very early, possibly the earliest goal I think we've seen tonight. Churchtown not getting the very quick equaliser that we've seen in other games. They are starting to come forward a little bit, but Northern Burn proving a tricky opposition. The half is flying by. Surely Churchtown had to equalise there, and we have already reached half-time. Doug Prentice not adding much on at all. So half-time, Dimbling, you find yourself 1-0 down.
Oh, shit, innit? I hate it when this happens, when you don't create anything. kind of really torn as to what to do at half time when it's like this, because I want to give them another chance, but at the same time I don't want the game to just drift by.
Some decent defensive performances, Mendes and Vialli working well together, Tomasi as well, but it's just further forward. Zambrotta struggling a little bit, and Volodenkov, so you're not getting much joy out of the wings. Agahawa as well, not as effective as he's been in other games.
Yeah, he doesn't always turn up. I think I'm going to have to change it.
Okay.
We'll
While you make your decisions, I will just let Ian have a quick look at his stats as well. Very solid. You know, they're not excellent, and Byrne can still improve in this fixture as well. But I'm sure he'll be very content at half time with what he's seen from his side. What changes would you like to make, Dimble?
I'm going to just bring on Hersey for Agahawa at the moment.
Hersey
please.
Agahawa is the confirmed change. Just wait confirmation from Ian what he would like to do, if anything. This is huge for everyone else in the playoff picture if you are to drop points here tonight. Also a massive relief for Byrne, who are going as is to 60. If they can pick up another 3 points in that battle at the bottom, especially with Sloths dropping points. Churchtown level things up. Volodenkov's first ever goal for Churchtown, almost straight from kickoff. And now the home side very much on the attack as we approach the hour mark. And it's 2-1 and it's Petrov. Churchtown have turned this game completely on its head. And as we pause for the tactics break, Dimble, you're now winning.
Wow. I nearly took Volodenkov off, so that was a good call not to do that. And I don't think I'll be changing anything right now, unless someone's on the other card, they're not, are they?
No other cards at all. As for Northern Byrne, a couple of those 7s now dropping to 6s because of Churchtown's dominance, and perhaps Roy Keane may need to be replaced, which I know will delight you if a player of his quality was to leave the pitch.
Yeah, well, Jet Medina's not a bad replacement. I know he's not had much of game time at all in this save, but he's a very good player.
But being a key part of the squad without ever really featuring for Northern Byrne.
He's once been on my top list for a long time, but I never actually inquired about him, so I didn't think I had anything that Ian would want off me.
Just waiting confirmation from Ian what, if anything, he would like to do. Now finding his side a goal behind, needs to turn it around. So interesting to see how these things come about. Like you said, you were very disappointed in your side in the first half, and in double quick time they've turned it around.
Yeah, it's very strange that you kind of go from creating nothing to creating a lot just after half time. So I'm surprised by that, but obviously pleased.
Here we go. A Sonler for Cliver and Brozek alongside. Right, hang on. A Sonler for Cliver.
Brozek to the right striker and a Sonler left striker.
I'm guessing you'll want Robin in here, Ian? In a more traditional 4-4-2 diamond. Cliver coming off must be a bit of a relief for yourself.
It is, because he's a very good player, and if he does turn up, then he's obviously a very good player. So, but he's on a 6, so I'd rather him stay on if he's not playing very well.
So that change and tactical move has been confirmed as Churchtown continue to come forward. And are you going to grab a third here? No penalty. Churchtown wanted it, not given. It's still very home side dominated. Can Byrne build up a bit of momentum themselves? We're into 73 minutes now. 74. Oh no, I didn't mean tactics.
Injury. Don't keep going. Injury.
Fuck off.
Jesus. Mendes the silver, please, and swap with Koluzny.
There you go.
Cheers.
Glad you spotted that, because I didn't.
That was nearly a disaster.
10 minutes to go. The injury has been fixed, and Churchtown are back to their full complement of 11. Offside by Koluzny. And all the time flying by. I remember the other week you were saying it was frustrating watching the minutes tick by, but now you're winning. I bet you're delighted to see them tick by. And then one last chance maybe as Kaluzhny comes forward. And there's the winner from Kaluzhny with his first ever goal for Churchtown in injury time. And that wraps up a critical 3 points for Churchtown. And maybe they want one more, and it's Hussein on a solo run. No, that is it. And you run out 3-1 winners, Dimble.
Excellent. What a second half that was. Really played well there. Commiserations to Ian. I'm pleased that we got the job done, because I think if I'd have lost that tonight, I think all the momentum's gone and I'd have really struggled to make the 6. So that keeps me right in the mix. So I'm very happy with that.
Smarty getting man of match. Look at that, 10 out of 10. And even Kaluzhny there, that goal and solo run at the end, putting his rating up to a 9. And in the end, that stellar second half performance has improved just about everyone's ratings.
Yeah, Petrov's been class, so hopefully it's a small injury, because he's been really, really good in that MC role. I'd struggled for 3 seasons to get an MC that worked. So, although Kaluzhny did all right when he went in there, didn't he? He's got a goal, but yeah, it's a big loss if he's out. But apart from that, absolutely delighted.
And defensively, it looks very meh from Northern Burn. Don't feel a meh's come out for a while. The attacking players actually didn't do too badly. You know, they all rated 7s with the exception of the substitute.
So it's hard to tell, isn't it, with Ian's squad, because he's got Cannavaro down there and Cole. So yeah, Ian, just like move your players and move them around on your tactic and resave it.
So that it's easier to read.
But he had Sigalko at the top for like 3 seasons. It really kind of like messed with my eyes.
But congratulations to Churchtown on what is a massive win here tonight. So we've seen these teams. We will go to the final game and kick off score predictions. I don't think I got the chance to ask you for Devils v Dudley, please.
Both teams have been boring this season, haven't they? I'm going to say 1-0 to Devils.
1-0 to Devils is the prediction, and it's Devils on the attack early. Abiati making a couple of saves. Daly comes forward, and it's Roy Mackay, the former Devil, scores his 5th of the season for the defending champions, and Thierry Henry scores, but it's been ruled out for offside. We have seen a lot of disallowed goals this season, and Rio Ferdinand, with his first ever Dudley Hill goal, puts the defending champions 2-0 up away from home. And now they're coming forward, streaming forward, looking for a third. It doesn't come before the whistle. And the half is over quite quickly. But Dudley Hill have done very well there, haven't they?
Been very clinical. And they've done that a few times early on in the season, especially. They didn't have loads of shots, but they scored a lot of the shots they had. But they looked, in the text, it looked like they were dominant. It looked like the better team to me.
Let's have a look at the Devils' stats first. Is Dan managing this team too, Steve? I mean, there's lots of 6s there. This team should not be getting this amount of 6s. It's just, look at such small numbers in terms of pass attempts, never mind completed. It's just really, really poor from Devils.
It is, yeah. I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's not good, is it? And the points they got on the board aren't too bad, but you'd expect more from the players they've got.
Well, I know you've got the second device there. Jens has put, Jesus, Devils are absolutely horrible. Bring back Hodgie or Fifey, please. It is very, very sad for me to watch the demise of Devils in such a fashion. It's just pathetic to watch, really. On the other hand, Dudley Hill, their ratings are very, very good.
You say that, but they're not doing loads, are they? They've got a couple of good performances and then a couple of meh, as we said a minute ago. But Dede's been really good since he came in. He's probably going to improve second half. Zanetti's always going to get you a 7, so he'll improve. So yeah, there's room for improvement, as well as being 2-0 up from Dudley, and I expect them to see it out from now. Yeah. I don't know if Rob's here today. If he is, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more men
I think he was very early doors. I've not seen him since, but Steve's definitely around and not afraid to tinker. So we'll see what he wants to do. The Saudi Gazette will be all over the Devils manager in tomorrow's news. As is, please. Nothing from Rob, so we'll go to 60.
I think we'll see yet another cabinet reshuffle in Saudi.
And that is huge for Dudley Hill. Kaladze going off on 57 minutes.
Ouch.
I mean, it'll be Good Johnson in there, and I imagine D'Alessandro with his farewell appearance.
I'd imagine so.
I will get that sub prepared just before the tactics break as well, which is a shame for Steve. But yeah, Kaladze's been a massive player since he got a regular run in Dudley Hill teams, so Steve will not be happy about that. Similar to you with the Petrov injury, I'll be hoping this isn't too long. Just wait for Steve. We're approaching the hour mark.
Do you Neville to right wing back and Zanetti inside is another option?
Yeah, possibly.
If you don't want to disturb, because D'Alessandro's on his way out anyway, isn't he? And he's not exactly known for his defensive ability.
Steve says gutted, but we got the right sub with D'Alessandro. So we crack on to the 60-minute mark, or 65 in this case. As a good attempt from Dudley, but it's well saved. We still haven't seen Rob. In case he's lurking in the background, Van Bronckhorst might need to come off. Bowyer, the only player in the book. Devils have had a poor disciplinary record this season as well, just to add to the list of complaints I have about what Rob's doing to this team. As for Dudley Hill, ratings continue to look largely very strong. Condition-wise, no real areas of concern either, so I imagine Steve to stick as is.
I imagine so, yeah.
When you consider some of the other results, if this result stays how it is, it's a massive night for you and Dudley, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm just looking at the table on my phone. Loco lost, did they?
They did? Yes.
They draw to lose. Yeah, so it makes us kind of a bit more secure in the playoffs. Dudley probably go into the playoffs. Devils will drop out. So yeah, it's a big night.
Another former Devil coming on for Dudley Hill as we hit 77 minutes now. And no point slowing this one down because Devils don't look like making any attempt to get back into it. And it is free. It's Ebby Sand makes it free.
Does that mean Luca can stay?
And Kesman did score for the home side, but got disallowed. That's right. Loco won. They beat Leddersford.
Loco won, did they?
Yeah, they beat Leddersford.
That was it.
Full-time whistle goes, and Devils have lost at home 3-0 to a clinical Dudley. They've created the same amount of chances, but Devils are just grotesquely out of form at the moment, whereas Dudley Hill made them pay.
They did. It was a very convincing win in the end. I don't think it's all down to Rob. I think after the performance they put in last season, the Devils were always going to come down a bit, but he could still do better. He's still got some good players playing poorly, and he's got some good players like Kewell not getting a sniff, which frustrates me because he should have been a Churchtown player anyway.
The Dudley Hill manager saying that is massive. Steve's best performance in a while, that says Duggan. Jens calling the Devils manager a disgrace. To be fair, the performance was a lot better in the second half. Everyone's seeing a lot more of the ball, but they just weren't good enough in the announcement. They just weren't good enough generally against the defending champions. Ebby Sam picking up man of the match for his performance. Abiati as well put in a very good performance. Has to be a contender for goalkeeper of the year for me. I think he's been very, very good.
He has, yeah. He's not one that I had kind of in mind as a Super League keeper, but he's done very well. Congratulations
to Dudley Hill on what is a big win. So that concludes the action. Look at the classifiers. We had Astor 4, Sloths 2, Bostock 2, Dragons 0, Churchtown 3, Burn 1. Congratulations, Dimble. We had Fulchester and Gazelles do a 1-1 draw, which I believe was the only draw of the night. Haggis winning 3-1 away at Halls, Loco winning 2-1 at Ledford, and as we've just seen, Devils losing 3-0 at home to Dudley Hill. That leaves the league table looking like this. Haggis Hunters now 6 points clear at the top from Fulchester, who are 6 points clear of Churchtown, Dudley and Loco, all on 30 points. Could one of those yet hunt down Fulchester and claim that critical second spot? Dimble, you looking at second spot, or do you think it's 6 points is too far?
It's probably too far, but if we win a few games, then why not? Let's have a go. Then my goal difference is good as well, so it'd only need to be the 6 and not 7, maybe.
And crucially,
but look at Haggis, the flying out, and look at that goal difference as well from Haggis. 41 goals. We've got the best attack, one of the best defences. Amazing stuff from Haggis.
Crucially, so there's a 2-point gap from the three sides I mentioned to Hulls and Devils, who now drop outside the top 6. But crucially for yourself and Dudley and Loco Dimble, there's now a 4-point gap to Bostock, 5 points to Leddersford and Gazelles, and then 6 points to Astor and Dragons. I mean, I'm not saying that you guys are there, because there is just that 2-point gap with Hulls and Devils, but I think it's kind of worst case, it's any 2 of you and any 3 of the others, or possibly 4. It's starting to look like the playoffs are taking shape.
Yeah, you're right. Not all of us will drop out, but obviously someone is very capable of messing it up from there. But from our point of view, it's kind of 3 more wins from 6 games, and it should do it. And it looks like a Haggis queue as well, just to add that in there as well. 42 points has always made the playoffs, so not that there was any doubt of that, but it's done.
So we next play on Thursday night, which in the game will be the 25th of February. You're away to Astor, Dimble.
Yeah, it's a game that on paper I probably should do all right in, but those have usually gone badly for me, so I'm definitely not taking it for granted. And Astor are plucky. They're very plucky, and like I said, they've played very, very well tonight.
And without wishing to skip over anyone, if you look 2 games below, you've got 4th place Dudley against 5th place Loco. So if you can beat Astor, then it's going to be a very, very good night for you, whatever happens.
Yeah, that's the thing. That all the teams are going to be playing each other with so many people involved in the race. If you do win, which not many people have done recently, there's been a lot of draws. If you do win, it's gonna get you big ground on a couple of people at least.
As for elsewhere, we've got Dragons at home to Fulchester, Gazelles hosting Hulls, Haggis Devils. Devils really need a win there. We've got Leddersford against Northern Burn, and we've got Spartak Sloths at home to Bostock Stanley. As always, anyone who would like to be on commentary, please just let me know. Did I say a minute ago we play Thursday? I think I've lost track of what days it is. We'll be playing again on Sunday, of course, as normal. And don't forget, as we're now at game week 20, it is the final set of reserve swaps as well. So your final chance to alter what your squads will look like in the run-in and what a run-in it's set to be. I did promise something of an announcement this evening as well. And it's nothing major this time, but just so you know, all of the managers and everyone in the advisory board will soon receive a sort of little survey ready for the new season, as I look to put plans on what it's going to look like. But also, I've recently purchased some new software for my Fools Rush In podcast, but there is a side bit to that, which will mean that there's a design change for the Super League next year as well, which I'm quite excited. If it goes the way I picture it, then the presentation for the Super League will look completely different next year, and a bit fresh and a bit new, and hopefully a bit exciting. And I look to get a few of you guys involved in that as well. So there's some interesting things happening ready for next season while we conclude this one as well. But having been thinking, there will also be one more announcement which will have a direct impact on this season at the end of Sunday's show, just to keep you all dangling that little bit longer. So hopefully today's announcement isn't too disappointing, that it's all to do with next year. Hopefully those of you that are a bit more creative are excited by what I've had to say. But yes, there will be another announcement at the end of Sunday, which will probably excite you a little bit more. Dimble, any final words from you?
No, other than the fact I'm wrecked. Let's go.
Well, from me and from Dimble, thank you very much as always, Dimble. Appreciate you jumped on last minute. Always great having you on comms. From me, from Dimble, until Sunday, so from Super League HQ. Good night.
Hi, lads.